War Eagle Auburn family, and welcome back to another Auburn family live stream here on our usual Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time to get together and talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. We're always heavy on the sports here at the UTC Network, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do because we cover, share, whatever you want to call it, the entirety, the whole of the Auburn experience. As is the case with every single Wednesday night, we get together with you all here and just shoot the breeze about what is going on as related to Auburn. Obviously, there's a lot on people's minds as returns to Auburn football camp, that getting started again, the quarterback race, things like that. Basketball just got wrapped up on their Israel trip. Many other Auburn sports are starting to kind of get geared up, if not started altogether. It's about to be an exciting time of year, so I imagine that you all have a lot on your mind as it relates to Auburn, and we will be discussing that tonight because this is a show about you. Your calls, your comments, your questions, everything is about you. You dictate what we talk about on these live streams. So we thank you for being here. Before we get started, though, I want to remind you of a couple of things. Please do make sure that you smash that like button if you enjoy this type of content, whether you're watching live or on the replay. If you're on social media watching, hitting the retweet button, the share button, share it into a Facebook group, invite a friend in, be part of our little family, the Auburn family. Those are always helpful things that you can do. What we'd like for you to do, though, is for one of our lottery regulars, if I can talk tonight, is to do our check-in period where they let us know where they're watching from. You can do that right now. City, state, international. Would love to know who's here, saying hello. Those are the things that you can do to help us get started. And obviously, drop your comments and questions about what you're interested in having us discuss here or the topic that we are discussing at hand at this point. So we'll bounce around to a lot of different things, a lot of different topics tonight. So it's going to be a fun night. I am sure of it. With that being said, the phone lines are open. You can hit the link at the top, and that way you can access this. Is only for people who are live. Obviously, if you're watching this on the replay, it doesn't really help you, but you can click that link, call into the show, and say hello. I would recommend if you are calling in tonight to try to get it in as soon as possible. Just because there is a potential of someone calling in that may be a longer conversation. I have a feeling it's not going to happen, but I also would hate for that to happen and you not be forewarned. So if you're thinking about calling in tonight, do so. Don't hesitate. With that being said, we got a lot of people here. Devin says, War Eagle, how's everyone's fine Wednesday evening? You know, this will be one of the last few kind of quiet Wednesday evenings we're going to have for quite some time. Because think about it. Football season obviously is a mere 3 weeks away at this point, roughly. After that point, you know, you've got basketball, which is going to have midweek games to talk about Tuesdays and Wednesdays and things like that. And same, you know, I mean, we're just going to be back into the grind of things. And I know that's not a complaint. We're ready for that. We're excited. But just, you know, relish these Wednesday nights where we can just kind of shoot the breeze a little bit and just talk to each other without having to worry about 1,000 different Auburn things that are going on right now. We got Rob, good to see you. Thomas, good to see you. We got Russell checking in as well. Russell, and I'm sure a lot of you noticed it, that our latest video where I broke down the press conference, we had a little bit of a mis-edit in there. So you got to see a little bit behind the scene, so to speak. I have now edited that part out. It was nothing super embarrassing, I don't think. But he noticed that. He was the first one to give me a heads up. So all of you that watched it, it didn't warn me. I got your name now. But that's on me for leaving that in there. But a little funny goof on my part. We got Dustin checking in. Who else is here? Brody, good to see you. I feel like we haven't seen you in quite some time, sir. So thanks for being here. Corey Benson from Hoover. Lots of our normal people here hanging out with us tonight. So it's always good to hear from you. All right, Thomas gets us started. Got the opportunity to talk to a former player this past week, and that was an eye-opening conversation. Well, Thomas, will you be calling to let us know that eye-opening conversation? I'd love to hear it because, you know, any insights. See, this is what I value. I value especially, you know, people who talk directly to coaches, to support staff, to players. And I value everybody's opinion. Let me just say that. But like, you know, that is the stuff that you can really take away as kind of concrete stuff. Although I would say that you need to keep in mind that these are 18 to 22-year-olds typically. And emotions run wild. I remember my emotions ran wild with 18 to 22-year-olds. So that can sometimes sway opinions and things like that. But I'd still love to hear that conversation if you're willing to share that with us tonight. It must be a thing we need to talk about later. So we'll talk about it then, I guess. I'm ready for these posers to get these Auburn hands. I don't know which posers you're talking about, but if you're talking about the people that keep downgrading us, talking bad about us, and saying that we're not going to be a force to be reckoned with at all in college football this year. Yeah, not a smart betting money to count out the Auburn Tigers in any form or fashion because we often exceed the expectations. Brody, I like the idea Bruce Pearl came up with about everybody playing Israel's national teams. Well, yeah, so I think it's a cool concept. He's done it before, not just for Israel, but for Italy. So every 4 years, I believe, they can take an international trip over their summer months to go and, take a full experience, but also go play basketball. Honestly, I don't remember any former coaches, Barbie, Lebo, didn't really pay attention to that kind of stuff as much when it was at Cliff Ellis, but I remember not very much about that type of stuff going on with them. So Bruce has really embraced that. And I think at least that Italy trip, it paid dividends right after that. We went to the Final Four. Are we going to go to a Final Four because we went to Israel? That's not going to be the reason, but could it help? Absolutely. The bonding, the, things that happen on those type of experiences, no matter where they are, when you do them with your team, you kind of learn together, you grow together, you kind of get to know each other on a much deeper level. So playing together, yes, is one thing, but just doing, this is a overused phrase, but doing life together is another thing that helps. Corey says, I read Derek Hall's interview. He said he's going to break Fairley's sack record this year. I forget who it was, and I've seen several, but a lot of people are dropping rankings of this player, that player. I think a lot of people, the easy choice when you start ranking best Auburn players is to put Tank up there. And you're probably going to be right. Probably. It's kind of like when I've already done my final prediction video for who's going to be the quarterback. If you haven't watched that, please go do that. We kind of all know where it's heading. Could be different, but probably the betting money is there on that result. The betting money would be on Tank. I think people are sleeping on Derek Hall. And I know he got first team all SEC, with Tank. But I think people are still sleeping on this guy. I'm excited for his season. And it just feels like there's something special coming for him. And he's already been super special. I like this dude, his leadership he displays as far as I can tell, on and off the field. I don't obviously know him personally. I don't get to see everything he does or everything he's involved in. But what I do see is a guy that gets involved on campus, a guy that gets involved with not just his teams on the field, but off the field. And I'm really rooting for the guy this year. I want him to be that big representative at the end of the year, because we all know, like, when it comes to the NFL draft time, running backs are not as valued as they used to be unless you are just the best of the best, which Tank could be. I think Derek Hall's got a chance to put himself not only in the first round, which a lot of people already have him in, but much, much higher. Only time will tell, though. Only time will tell. Russell brings up a good point, a little bit of recruiting discussion points. Posse, have we decided, is it Posse or Posse? How do we say it? The quarterback commit for 2024 opens up pipelines to South Florida, given he's apparently a respected baller down there. The pipeline for Auburn is always, I say that with the acknowledgement that's mainly modern day, been open for Auburn in Florida and into Central and South Florida to some extent. And that kind of ebbs and flows. I would say the last one I can remember that came out of there significantly was Nate Craig Myers, and I guess his brother Javon Myers as well. Were they going to the same school at that time? I can't remember. Anyway, yes, I think it's an important thing for the 2024 class to go ahead and get those inroads into the state of Florida. We all know that a talent that resides within Alabama this year, and is always there in Georgia. If Florida ever takes a backseat to anybody, you can be sure that the next recruiting cycle, they'll be rolling back on through with some of the best talent. So having our foot in the door down there with a recruit, hopefully they'll stay committed, will pay dividends in terms of him helping recruit as well. I would love one of our guys to go all Nick Fairley on everyone. He certainly came out of nowhere, didn't he? Like, to this day, I remember sitting at the Mississippi State game in Starkville of the championship season, which was my senior year. That was really special. So were a lot of other people that graduated that year. But I just remember sitting at that game and being like, how is this dude just now coming onto the scene? Like, I know he was there, but like he's just bursting onto the scene. He's so dominant. He's so awesome. If somebody can have that's the problem though for Derek is he's kind of been getting awesome this entire time. We're all expecting this out of him, but can he take it to that next level? Can he become the edge rusher of the SEC this season? I think so. I'm very, very excited for his future and very, very excited for what he could accomplish this year. If you want to invoke Nick Fairley's name with that, that's probably a very apt comparison. Braden Joyner has been practicing with the ones today. Well, the problem, I think you may have him confused with, unless you're talking about Auburn offensive line, like the high school. I think you've got Braden Joyner and Easton, the one offensive line commit that we had come into this class and is now there. He's been practicing with the number ones today. The O-line doesn't seem set in stone. I'm expecting better tackle play this year. Really high on Zaire. I am as well. I'm excited for him, his opportunities that he may have come his way. Here's the thing. I'd stress this a lot. Watch the press conferences and really listen to what Coach Harsin is saying. Really listen. I'm not talking about just hear it, but listen to what he's saying. And what he told us in this latest press conference was that the tackles, the guards, and he didn't say the centers, but he can assume that and they can read that into there. Those are set. So there should be rotation still happening, but not within those different positions. All right, we'll get back to some of your comments and questions. Ooh, a lot of people dropping in now. I think Brandon Council is who you meant. There we go. We got the clarification. But let's talk to our first caller tonight, one of our regulars, Mr. Russell. How's it going, sir? With the great background as always.
Always. Hey, War Eagle, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself?
Well, I'm good. I'm God blessed. Yes, thank you. It's a beautiful day out here. It's not hot, which is nice for August. I'm loving it. So it's a beautiful day where I'm at.
Do you think that's going to bode poorly for us going to Auburn in a few weeks, that the heat's only, just taking a break right now?
I got a feeling it's going to come back with a vengeance right when Penn State visits town, and they're just going to be exhausted by the second quarter.
I'll take that. If that's the reason for the heat to return, is just to make them understand what we deal with down here. Yeah, you got your noise up there. So do we up there at Penn State, but that climate is a lot more favorable than the sweltering, humid, disgusting weather that we sometimes get down here.
It can be real bad, and I'm liking that our guys are hitting the stadiums, and they're going to come down here thinking they're in shape, but there's nothing like getting out in the Alabama heat and feeling it for yourself. So we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise me, but I don't think so. I think they're in for a 35-17 beatdown this year, in my opinion.
We deserve to give them a little bit of a beatdown if it's possible. They talked a lot of smack last year. I'm sure you at least saw some of that when we were doing shows during that week, how much they came onto the channel, and a lot of them were nice, but yeah. And I'm like, guys, I mean, y'all act like we just said something about your mama. Settle down.
They wouldn't let it go about the whiteout. They acted like we had never seen anything like a whiteout before.
I do hate that I didn't get to go to the whiteout, because I remember when the Penn State game was announced, and I had literally said the minute it was announced, I'm going to this. And unfortunately, I forget what it was last year, but I had I was coming back from vacation or something. I had some conflict where I could not go to it. And I actually could have gone to it. It ended up being, but it was a blessing in disguise that I wasn't able to go to it. So I'm excited to have Penn State here. This even if it's not going to be a night game, which is just an utter travesty. Can we just talk about that? That's just how do they not give us the night game? I get that CBS picked us up, which is the big get for SEC teams for some reason, but I'm frustrated.
I did too. I don't know why they couldn't change it to a night game, even if they kept it on CBS. It was just like the night game would have just been tremendous. But then again, I was upset like you are. But then I started thinking like that heat, though. Oh, that heat might give us that little edge we need. You know, that 2:30 heat is something different. It would still be hot at night, but it may not be that edge that our guys are probably going to get. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
it,
definitely.
it's it's really gonna. I don't know. I think with our depth this year, we have a whole lot more depth than we're given credit for. Um, Not necessarily across the board in every position, but as long as injuries don't reap their ugly head on those positions, we are a little bit thin. Like we're fairly deep, especially on defense. So like we're going to be able to roll some guys through there more so than most people can, and that's what you need in modern day football. For about the last 15 years, the better defenses are the ones that not only have the top quality players, but the ones who have like two deeps, you know, 2 and 3 deeps, because you got to keep them fresh. And just the fresher you can keep them third and fourth, especially those big D linemen, you know, they can go as hard as they can.
Right.
It reminds me when we had Truesdale and I'm forgetting the other defensive tackle that played with him a couple years ago at Auburn right after Brown and Marlon Davidson left, but it was Truesdale and the other cat. And basically that was it. You know, we had another guy or two, I think, but they weren't necessarily ready yet. And it really bit us that year because we were just getting killed up the middle constantly on defense. And I don't see that being even close to an issue anymore because we just have so many guys now that can just plug in. That's the thing. Like if one guy gets hurt here, out of necessity, I don't think people realize Caleb wouldn't, in my opinion, Kobe wouldn't. He
Mhm.
could bump out to edge if needed be in an
Yeah.
emergency situation. Because when he was a freshman, he played a little bit out there and he did good. He's more suited for the inside, but man, yeah, we have a lot of depth. We have a lot of versatility, and now people are even starting to talk about Morris Joseph, which I just wasn't expecting to hear his name at all until maybe in the season when he started doing some stuff. But like, because there's so many guys ahead of him, I think that like Marcus Harris and Zykevious Walker, and I mean, my goodness, just and not even to mention the big pluggers in the middle, Jason Jones, and
Mhm.
now you got Jeremiah Wright back over there, which he's probably better suited for because he played offensive line and defensive line at Selma in
Yeah.
high school when he played against McAdory. I remember watching or asking my buddy who coached at McAdory then, and asking him about him. And he just talked about how good of an athlete he was for 6'5", over 300. And um, I think he's more suited for the defensive line, although he could play both. But he was on my. I was talking to. I think it was on your one of your messages. I was mentioning to somebody who giving Harsin a hard time about not recruiting off. Why can't he recruit offensive linemen? Even Jeremiah Wright's bailing on the offensive line and going. I was trying to tell the guys just a little bit of patience on the recruiting here, but
Yeah.
Jeremiah Wright was almost the starting nose tackle 2 seasons ago before he blew his knee out.
And yeah, that was about to say the big thing for him has been injuries. And if you listen to Coach's conversation last press conference when he was asked about that, he said that they've had lots of conversations, not about like just what he wants to do, but what's best for him with his injuries that he has had. And
Right.
you know, the offensive line, I think people don't appreciate how much a beating their knees, their legs take. You don't
Yeah.
think about it because they're not running routes, right? They're just
Right.
taking a step back and doing their footwork and stuff like that. But they take
Yeah.
a beating. That's why you see most of them wearing braces,
That's
most of
right.
them wearing some type of apparatus even if they don't have an issue, to just
Mm-hmm.
keep it right. So yeah,
That's
I
right.
think a lot of people miss that. See, I think that's what happens a lot on social media, but just in life too. Everybody takes that
Right.
one sound bite, that little bit of information, and they extrapolate it to its furthest point, as opposed to taking a second and going, okay, is that exactly what that means? Or is
Yeah.
there a bigger picture that I'm not seeing here? And that's the big advice I would say to everybody now in fall camp. Because yesterday everybody was hyping up, Robbie Ashford saying he's the quarterback. Today it's TJ Finley. Tomorrow it'll be Zach. Tomorrow it'll be Holden. So everybody just everybody
Calm.
relax. Everybody
Calm.
relax.
In the world we live in nowadays, it's like you said, so many sound bites and everything, just such impulsive, emotional, and decisions, and just like you really got to watch your tongue now, because what you say today could have no relevance or be totally ignorant tomorrow. Like, it just,
Don't even get me started.
yeah. Well, me and you, but I've had to learn the hard way. I think we all do.
Oh,
We don't
yeah,
have
I'm sure
to.
we've all had that. Yeah, you can even stuff that you didn't mean in a bad way, people will
Yeah.
they'll pinpoint it
Yeah.
and, like, they'll save it in a file or something like that, and then they'll wait for the opportunity to come back and use it against you. Trust me, that's happened in the last couple of months,
Oh
for me,
man.
so
Oh man. Yeah, some of it you gotta just let it roll off your back. You gotta consider the source. But you're right. You wanna be as spot on as you can about it. And like we've talked about before, we have to assume, because we're not on the inside. Like Thomas was saying a minute ago, he's got that inside scoop now. That's nice when you get a little piece of that, because otherwise we're just trying to fit puzzle pieces together how we think they fit.
right.
We don't really know. But it's fun. It's as fun as what it's our adult soap opera, our that we're all watching here, our days of our Auburn lives. It's
Days of
all
Our Auburn Lives, starring Brian Harson.
starring.
Hey, listen, if there was a soap opera starring Auburn and he was the star of it, I mean, he couldn't have written a better soap opera storyline than this offseason. I mean,
Yeah,
there was intrigue, there was a supposed, even mistress involved in all of that. I mean,
yeah,
you want to talk about a soap opera? That's what some people wanted it to be, and
yeah,
it got some clicks. I'll tell you that much.
yeah. He called him out at the SEC media day. He's like, some of y'all didn't think I was gonna be here, did you?
I was total baller move. Total
Yeah,
baller
he
move on
was.
that one.
He owned them on that, man. He told him, he gave him a piece of it. He's like, you want anything else? Go to Google. I'm done with it. Peace.
Yeah,
I liked Hars, man. He's a good coach if we just give him a chance and stick with him, and
and give him some
just
time.
give him a chance. We got to give him a chance. He looks to have all the makings, and some of these guys that are coming out and talking about how he's a really good coach, they're not going to just be saying these things. Some of them are respected opinions out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Days of Our Auburn Live. That's a good one. And there's also a conspiracy little twist on it. This was just the way my mind was working. What if, and I'm about 99% sure this didn't happen. What if all that in the off season was on purpose?
Oh,
Because look at
wow.
Ferriari.
Oh, no, Russell.
Yeah,
Don't
I
even
probably
don't
shouldn't have
even
said that.
insinuate that. You're gonna open
I
up
know.
so many cans of worms.
Probably
No.
shouldn't have said that. I probably shouldn't have said that. But I was
Oh,
I was wanting
no.
to I wanted to save it to after the season, but then again, I was thinking somebody else is going to bring this up at a certain point. I'm going to wish I'd have said something, but I was thinking about
Well,
it a couple of months ago. I don't want to hurt Auburn anyway, but I just think it's an interesting, just what if, like, because
8
look at how it is now. I mean, things are falling in line pretty nice before the season. Nobody's thinking we're going to be anything. We're hiding in the bushes like the best
mm,
Auburn Tiger teams do. We hide and we just wait till we pounce, and before we know it, we're gonna be 5-0 going to Georgia, and who knows what could happen at that point, because I don't think Georgia's gonna be what they were last year. They lost too many defensive players last year, too many first round picks. I know they're gonna be really good on defense this year. I know that with Muschamp there along with Kirby Smart. I hate that combination. That just bothers me that they're there with each other, because it's a good combination. But
yep,
they're going to be good. But you can't replace 5 first rounders. I don't care who you are.
that's
That's not
true.
how college football works. So they're going to be good, but they're going to be beatable. And yeah, we're not going to be under the radar at that point, I don't think.
Yep, yep.
But also just, yeah, what if, Kyle? Because I mean, if you look at it, really, people are talking about, oh, the recruiting, this, that, and the other. Well, no, the signs, the signatures were already done for last recruiting class when all this stuff happened. So this was for the next class. There's been no signature signed for this next class. So what a better way to kind of just not hurt Auburn, but it took a negative connotation perception wise.
Right.
But what if you had to take 2 steps back to take that giant leap this year? And you could have taken a leap this year, but almost the way that it's set up with how
Mhm.
much people are bashing us. 5.5 wins by Vegas. Oh, the players hate this, that, and the other. Bad recruiting. And a whole time, what a better way to build trust with recruits when you're harsh than just saying, just wait.
Mhm.
Just wait.
I
Just
I will
wait.
tell you this in relation to any basically these days conspiracy in relation to any rumors. As much as I try to dispel rumors sometimes, I will say that if a guy can run 109 yards for a touchdown off of a missed field goal, anything's
Yeah.
possible.
That's right.
I'll take. You got one more final question or comment? I got another caller on the line, but I want to give you the opportunity to get another one in.
Oh man, I could go and talk a real. I'll just try to make it real quick. I was actually just thinking about Camden Brown, his
Yeah, a
first
lot of people
first
are talking about him. Yep.
the first freshman to win the Heisman. I'm excited to see that this year. No, I love the guy, man. I've been talking him up, man. I saw a couple of videos of him and just the way that you can just tell some people they got the hands, they got the effort, the heart. Him being from down in Florida and apparently playing with all those just big time attitude players, and he's bringing it as a freshman. So he'll have his freshman bumps, but I'm gonna go out on a limb, man, and I'm going to say it. And I haven't even seen. He's gonna be one of the best Auburn receivers that we've ever had.
A lot of people are already saying that. Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm trying to make this short, but here's the point I've been wanting to make. We're not necessarily known as wide receiver U. We've had a bunch of really close guys that could have been it. Your Duke Williamses, Kyle Davis a few years ago, I think his name was. Oh man, that guy was going to be a baller. He played a freshman, and then he was going after that. But we've had those guys that just had it, but never could put it all together. I think this might be the guy who challenges Frank Sanders for the best Auburn receiver of all time. I know that's crazy, and it sounds stupid to say that. He's a freshman. He practiced 3 times. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say he's got it, and I'm going to stick by it. Hopefully, he'll prove me right, hopefully.
Well, maybe so. Well, only time will tell. Hey, buddy, thank you for calling in tonight.
War Eagle, buddy. God bless you, buddy.
War Eagle. Awesome. All right, that's our first call. We got 2 lined up right now, so just hang tight. If you're in the queue, we'll bring you in as soon as we can. As always, if you want to call in, you can hit that link above. You can get in the queue here, and we'll work you in the order that you get in here. Any topic is fair game to talk tonight. By the way, I do want to say hello to Clint. I said, brought it up earlier. He's at the band fields right now. I'm so jealous right now. They're doing their first halftime show run through. I wish I was there right now, Clint. I love watching the band practice and hear them. All right, let's talk to our next caller. One of our regulars, Mr. Kevin. How are you doing, sir?
Where you go, Cal? Look at my football jersey.
I can see it. You got a 12 on. So which Auburn 12 are you repping today? Who is that representing?
Brandon Cox.
Brandon Cox. That was a good one. He had some ups and downs, but I think you'll find, a lot worse options at Auburn quarterback in their history.
Chris Todd.
Now, listen, I'm going to tell you a funny story, Kevin. Not funny story, but I was not a fan of Chris Todd. And to some degree, I'm not necessarily a Chris Todd fan. Now, if that gets to him, I'm sorry, but I'm a much less belligerent about it than I used to be. I was a huge Cody Burns fan, thought he should have started, all that stuff. And I was very adamant about it in the day, but I'm much nicer about it now. So
12.
Say that again.
Number 12 is Holden Gridner.
Listen, I think it's pronounced Gurner. I think I've got that right. Yes, Holden Gurner is, I believe, number 12. But yeah, I think he's hopefully he can do justice to the number 12. What else you got on your mind tonight?
I think Camden Brown might win the Heisman Trophy, just like other guy said.
I was about to say, Russell, and everybody else on social media is giving him the Heisman right now. Listen, I'm all for that. If he gets the Heisman as a freshman, sign me up. I'll take that every day and twice on Sunday. I'd like to see some game action before I make those predictions, but I love hype. I love excitement. And this is what, you want to start hearing as we get closer and closer to the season. So,
Brian Orson said,
"Yep,
Robbie Ashford was doing good at quarterback."
Yep. And I was going to say, too, that Brian Harsin also has complimented Camden Brown. He's complimented a lot of guys. In his press conference, he talked about there's been good and bad days for all of the quarterbacks. He did say that Robbie's probably had the most good days. I think when people hear that, though, they're instantly thinking, oh, that means he's a starter. Well, that's not necessarily what it means. Could be? It absolutely could be. A guy can run 109 yards back on a touchdown. Anything's possible. But what I think people are missing in that is this guy has not played legitimate quarterback starting time ever.
Yeah.
And he's showing progression that is worthy of being considered, that outside of just, spring game stuff and stuff like that, which is what you want to hear, because I want to know that guy number one is, the guy, right? He's going to be your starter, whether that's Robbie or not. But I also want to know guy number two. And if that is Robbie, there's no drop off. Thankfully, TJ, for the most part, last year was not much of a drop off from Bo, just in different skill set, because he won Georgia State, right? And we didn't look stupid once he, came in. He actually almost put us in a position to win the Iron Bowl. So when I look at Auburn's quarterback situation, 1, 2, 3, even 4, I'm very happy about it.
Well, you think will we see Robbie Ashford in the game?
Yes.
First game of the season?
Oh, in the first game, I don't know, but will we see Robbie Ashford this season? Absolutely, we will. I don't see any reason that they would redshirt him. I don't see any reason that they wouldn't play him at least in those 4 games that they're allowed before they lose a red shirt, because I don't know if he's actually used his red shirt or not. We will see Robbie Ashford, in my opinion. The question is as a starter or in a different package.
On this book, it says he's a freshman.
Yes, so that would mean he probably did redshirt then, because he spent a year or 2 maybe at Oregon. Was it a year?
At Oregon.
So that means if he's still a freshman, then he's he is. It depends on what book you're looking at too. That could be a little bit old, but he's got a lot of eligibility left. So we're gonna have Robbie for quite some time, even if he doesn't. As long as he chooses to stay, and he stays here for the time.
And I think Tank will do his job, run through those blocking holes.
I think he is going to do everything he can. He seems very motivated. Again, the question goes back to, will the offensive line give him a hole to run through? Because you can run over 1 guy, 2 guys, but when 3 and 4 guys are starting to come through those holes you're trying to hit and trying to bounce out of, no, not even a Tank sometimes can't hit a bump in the road. So Tank's got to have some help, and I think he'll get it this year. We talked about last year as I got closer and closer to the year, my optimism rose up. That's starting earlier for me this year. Much earlier.
How many days until we start?
Today is the 10th. We're on the 3rd. There are, doing quick math, 30 days. So we are 23 days, rough, give or take some hours from kickoff. 23 days, I believe. So I think I did the quick math right.
I'm ready for it.
You're ready for it. Awesome. I am too, sir. Let me ask you this. Maybe we can round out our conversation with this. I know you're excited about Robbie Ashford, but who do you really think is right now, based on what you've heard, going to be the starting quarterback?
Zach Quesada.
Okay, so you are like, how sure of you of that? Like 90%, 50%, 10%? Like how sure of you?
70%.
70%. That's pretty confident, but it sounds like you're willing to take that. Would you be unopposed to TJ if he won it?
I'll be the same.
I love to hear it. This is the type of stuff I want to hear. Everybody needs to support everybody no matter what. And I know it's hard to do.
I think our defense will get some interceptions this year too.
I sure hope so, because we're going to need them. We're going to need a lot of turnovers. We're going to need a lot of effort from a lot of different people. Kevin, I got time for one more question so I can get my next caller in here. What you got?
Who will be your favorite wide receiver this year on Auburn's team?
That's a good question. Well, I'm not going to jump on the Camden Brown hype train yet, even though I'm excited from what I'm hearing. I think that's the easy choice, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to like this pick, but my favorite is still going to be Shedrick Jackson, because he's the guy that's been here. I have an affinity for guys that stick with it, stay with us despite what they've been through.
That's my pick too.
Well, look at that. We're just right down the same lines of thinking there, Kevin. So I love it. I love the synergy here.
See you win the games.
Yep. So I will be at the, as I've said before, I will be at the Tiger Walks always. And so the best way to find me for sure is to come to Tiger Walk right next to the banner, and I will be right there taking a video.
War Eagle.
War Eagle, buddy. Thanks for calling. Talk to you later, Kevin. All right, we'll get our next caller in here in just a second. Let's kind of catch up for just a second. A lot of people discussing that Heisman conversation that we were having. Yeah, there was one previous freshman wide receiver that was, or is that a sophomore? I'm sorry, that was Johnny Manziel when he was a sophomore. And Camden Brown, Devonta Smith was the last wide receiver. Before that, Desmond Howard. I think I've got all that right. and some conversations about JC Hart potentially being the next recruit. All right, let's jump on over to our phone lines again and say hello to another familiar face that has been around for quite some time, and we're thankful for that. Mr. Dusty, how are you doing, sir?
Good evening. How are you, everybody?
War Eagle to you. What is on your mind, sir?
Well, Russell, I see you asked me questions in the comments about JC Hart. And no, Russell, I don't. Like I was telling Corey, I don't think we have another commit till at least till we win some games. I don't even want to like go down the recruiting thing because I don't want to be negative, and it's just really negative.
Hey, quick question: Did he announce a commitment date? I thought he still is kind of like up in the air about that.
I didn't see it, but
Right.
since the Connor Lou thing, I've completely tapped out. I mean, like. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. I mean, in 2 years we signed one lineman last year, knowing we needed to sign a bunch of them, and now we've only got one. And it's just wild when you think about the pitch, because the pitch is, hey, you get to come to a place that's known for running the ball. You're going to be involved. It's the SEC West. You're going to play in big games in front of what a lot of people just called it SC Media Days, the hypest crowd in the country. And you're going to have an opportunity more so than you would at any other SEC program to start right away, or at least, redshirt a year, get bigger, and then be able to go. Like, you're going to have every opportunity to play. And even with that pitch, we just can't land them. So, and if you look at, there's like somebody posted a list of all the guys that we were like strong in it for, not just guys that we tried, like guys that we were strong in it for. It's like 30 something people. So, no, I wouldn't put any eggs in that basket right now. It couldn't be going any worse. We're just gonna have to win some games and then hopefully go from there. So
yeah, until he announces a commitment date, if he does, most people do these days. I'm not even going to give it. Not that I'm not interested in having him. I can't make myself get invested in someone until they say, okay, this is my final blah blah blah. This is my commitment date. So being a Locha Polka guy, I think we stand best chance out of anybody. We talked a lot about previous videos and conversations about the importance of taking care of your backyard, especially with those recruits you don't want to let slip out. And they've done that. I mean, a lot, but we'll see.
Yeah, if we do get him, obviously, we're happy. We need everybody we can get. But like, if we get JC Hart, that's the last one before football season. There's not even anybody after. That's not anybody after that we're even in a talk for. So, we just want to go down that road.
Give me some happy things. Let's
I know.
make you happy.
I was answering the question.
I know.
Have my name in it, but man, no, I don't want to go down that path. The 2023 class looks good, or 24, however that works.
It's a good start.
But, no, I'm just man, I want to say this about all the 25 minutes that the media gets. Like, you guys don't read too much into this stuff. I see a lot of stuff being read into the rotations. Now, I will say this, like the defensive rotations, they seem pretty, like, you look at it and you say, okay, that's probably maybe with a few exceptions. I know that JD Rhymes making some noise. If you look into the JD Rhymes situation, you can, if you followed it, importance of recruiting right there. Get a guy who can come in immediately and play. And you were talking about South Florida guys. You forgot my boy Carlton Davis out of Miami.
I did. I'm sorry. I saw that while we were having a conversation with Russell, and I was like, I'm ashamed of myself now. So I'm sorry. Please, here's my Auburn card. You can have it. Sorry.
Don't forget about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl champion.
I know.
But hey, that's a guy. He came in as a true freshman and played right away. And about the Camden Brown thing, you can just go on my Twitter and look. I was on this train right when we signed him, because there's just a lot of potential there, and we need the size. I'm hoping that Xavier can have a big year. But what I was saying was, look. The media gets 25 minutes, and it's not like in those 25 minutes, Harsin doesn't strike me as a guy. And most college football coaches aren't. They're not going to just show you a whole lot of anything. You're pretty much getting like basic drills and stuff. And yeah, I know that they're doing some passing or whatever, but they're literally posting like, okay, well, TJ had a bad throw, or Zach had a bad throw, or his footwork wasn't right on this throw. And it's like, yeah, well, like that's practice. It's the fourth day. They're just not. They're going to have to work those things out, especially in Zach's case. This is his first time being back. All those other guys had spring. So just be patient with that. Don't read too much into it. You know, it's 20 to 25 minutes of it. And the scrimmages will kind of be, you know, because you'll hear there's always nuggets that come out about scrimmage, and one way or the other, you know, they kind of start seeing how it falls that way. So just wait till Saturday. But right now, like I know Ashford was getting reps with it once a day in front of the media.
As he should.
Yeah. I mean, that's how that's going to be. And then you see, when I saw that, all the pro Ashford people were posting, I told y'all. And it's like, just calm down, everybody, you know, calm down.
It's the funniest thing, because here's the thing. I don't care if it's Zach, TJ, Robbie, frankly, I don't even care if it's Holden, you know, because, you know, we're basically starting from scratch. So I'm not advocating for one, you know, I'm just saying, just breathe.
Right.
Nobody outside of the coaches has all the information. The beat writers have probably the media entities, you know, I guess I technically fall into that class on like the lower level, but like, you know, those guys, the guys that we typically think of, they have more of the information than we do, but they still only have a minute little bit of that information. And I always try to, I'm not faulting them for this. Their job, just like it's my job, is to get you to click. Keep that in mind, especially right now, is to get you to click. So they can get your attention with that. They might kind of give you something that they know that you're really interested in. And I'm not saying they're misleading you. It's just, they know it is smart for me to make a video like I just did about my final prediction for quarterback, because I know that's what's on everybody's mind right now.
No, and it was, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was cool the way you did the percentages and stuff. And here's the thing, like, I'm subscribed to these websites. I click on the stuff too. They, you know, just have perspective when you do. Like, I'm just, you know, like everybody else, we're big fans. We want to get as much as we can. So, but when you know, just understand, like, you're only going to see only going to see a little bit. And I know that quarterback is obviously the most important position, and it's a sexy one to talk about. But the way that this is going to go, the way our team is going to win ball games, we need a quarterback that complete 62 to 65% of the throws. And you're hating on Chris Todd. Have a Chris Todd touchdown to interception ratio like he did his full year as a starter, 22-6.
Yeah, listen, I have somewhat exercised that part of Kyle's history in terms of how, I mean, I was fervently against Chris Todd. Like, I mean, I've never despised in that part of my life a Auburn quarterback as much. And I keep it up now amongst the group of friends that knew me back then, because it's just fun, because they knew how much I despised Chris Todd. If I met the guy on the street today, I'd do nothing but, you know, thank him for his time as an Auburn Tiger. Wish you'd let my boy Cody Burns play, but you know, that kind of
Cody
thing.
got a TD in the national championship. It all
listen, yeah, and that is why I'm just quick story. I know I don't want to take up your time because you called in here, but like, you know, we don't have children yet, but we're hoping that'll change in the not too distant future for me and my wife. I am fighting tooth and nail to name my child, my first son, Cody, because of the story of Cody Burns, because of how he put the team first. Had every reason to be mad, to walk away from the game, and he did it. And what happens to that man? Not only does he I think he threw a touchdown pass himself in the first game, even with Chris Todd, because they did that little switcheroo thing. He scores the opening national championship touchdown. You won't tell me I wasn't misty-eyed when that happened? That was my boy. Listen, I have never fangirled harder for anybody than I got when I got to shake Cody Burns' head. Like, I mean, Cody Burns is my dude. I've never had that bigger man crush than that. Anyway, I don't know why I did that, but there it is.
No, I understand. I get where you are with Chris Todd. I definitely wanted Malik Willis over Jarrett Stidham, and I feel like I was proven right. Yeah. But
yeah, it's like I believe I was right about Cody Burns too, but we'll never be able to prove that, right?
And Cody got to drop a nice dime to Cam. Cam got to play some receivers, so you know.
You want to tell me I didn't like just do laps around, you know, Toomer's Corner when that throw got, because I lived at the Auburn Baptist Campus Ministries, where the old location, because I was one of the I don't know what the official title would be, residents, because we took care of the building and stuff like that. And so we would open up the building for anybody to come in and watch on our big projector screen. And when that man threw that ball up in the Ole Miss game, and Cam Newton just drops it in his bread basket, I did like 5 laps around Toomer's Corner, and then just pumped up, missed part of the game completely. Anyway.
Yeah, I was so mad that game. I wanted us to kill them by 100. I hate when we have to wear blue on the road. I absolutely hate it. When the team makes us do that, it just pisses me off. Like we go to LSU and we're wearing blue. It's like, come on, man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, it's not really related to what we're talking about, but I saw this. Stidham is now a Raider. You think he's ever going to get a shot at starting again, or is he kind of relegated to, the ranks of backing up and stuff like that?
So here's my thing with Stidham. He's like a really good dude, and he gives like all the right answers and stuff. I don't know. He seems to me like someone's just kind of comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to, be negative towards him and stuff. And like,
I get what you're saying.
A backup in the NFL to me is this one of the sweetest jobs in the world. You're still an NFL player. You have a really good chance of becoming a coach. You get to soak all that in, and that's a nice paycheck. And then somebody gets hurt, you still get to be the starter and you still get to play or whatever. So but I don't really see it for Jarrett. He just even at Auburn, to me, he just seemed like so if you had to pick a guy that's like I use Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Conor McGregor, the second that he made $300 million versus Floyd Mayweather, he was never the same fighter again. Like, it's just different when you're waking up in satin sheets, is what they say. Yeah. And Stidham comes from a very well-to-do background and stuff, and he's just comfortable, and it's a nice life, man. But I don't see him. I don't know. I don't
if the right situation happens, I think Jarrett Stidham will get a chance to start him, and I think he can do enough to earn himself the starting job for the rest of the year if he's given that opportunity. But I feel like it happens a lot, right? You saw this happen with Jason Campbell. He got that opportunity, and we can make excuses all we want. I mean, he was with a bad team, still is a bad team, but he just kind of got into that cycle of I never could be the guy, Like Cam almost had that happen to him, and it's happening again. But he got back to the Panthers, and of course that they're going to start him just for the feel good story of that. So there's this point in the NFL, especially I feel like for Auburn quarterbacks, that if they don't make that initial grab of something and latch onto it like Cam did, they kind of have cycled into the backdrop, which is not a bad thing, like you said, money, and you get the chance to play football.
The NFL is quick. Like, the average, is 3 years or whatever. And that's because that's an average. That's because some guys play longer. But I mean, you can be out of there fast. The NFL is no joke, man. Like, it's a different level. Even when you have the best of the best, like Georgia versus Alabama versus Ohio State, a couple of the guys on the field are gonna pan out in the NFL. Right. It is just a different monster, man. So kind of how it works.
Let's do this real quick and round out our conversation here, because we haven't talked about it. And I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but I'm going to bring it up. That Israel trip. Thoughts on that, or for basketball? Any opinions about that, or were you able to follow it at all?
Yeah, no. It was always in the middle of a work day, so I had to watch them, go back and rewatch them.
That's the one bad thing about that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I felt like the second game was pretty impressive, and then the third game was impressive too. There's because you're playing, there's pros on that team, and those guys. The big thing is the continuity. Those guys are actively playing to qualify for world tournaments and stuff. They're playing together versus other grown men versus other professionals. So, and then we're still experimenting and trying to put all this stuff together, and we still hung with them. And they are very, very complimentary of our defense, which that's just what. As long as Bruce Pearl is our coach, I feel like we're good for 22 wins in the regular season just based off of defense. Mm-hmm. So, and this is not me being like, so now that Bruce has done what he's done and he's established the program, for me, it's kind of what can we do to take that next step and, get a little bit more consistent in the tournament, make some Sweet 16, some more Elite Eights and stuff instead of these 1s, 2s, not really. And I know with the COVID year, I feel like we were probably going to at least make the Sweet 16. But you're just guessing with that one that we got cut short. But I feel like that team was built right. And, Samir and them were hungry, and those seniors were going to get one more shot. So,
that was a travesty.
It really sucked, man. I hate that so much for those guys because I think they would have been able to probably make a run, depending on how the bracket would have fell and all that kind of deal. But very impressed with the team. I like Johan a lot. I like Chance a lot. Johan, though, really fired up for what he can bring. As far as like a long-term projection, Kyle, I kind of see this team has differences in last year's team, but it's also kind of similar. It's like, how far are we going to go without consistent shooting from the three-point line? It's 2022, like the three-point, you can't win without it. You know, that the game of basketball has changed from when me and you were growing up playing it. You could still pound the inside and play good defense and stuff and win a game like that. And you will, like when you play 30, 35 college games, you're going to win a good amount of those with the athletes we have and Bruce's just brilliance with his schemes defensively, the way that we defend, the inbound. There's just so many things Bruce does on defense that, you know, could really mess guys up. So, and then when we get rolling, especially at home, when we get rolling and that crowd gets going, we're getting those easy turnovers, those fast break buckets. We're hard to beat. So can KD, can Wendell, is there somebody that can consistently knock down threes? I know they can knock down 5, 6 in one night and get hot. Can you do it consistently? And can we win teams? Because teams know what we're going to do. So when we play a team that's on the same level as us, when we're on the road or it's an SEC tournament, you're playing a hot team like A&M, and they're well coached as well, and they have the athletes to match up, and they slow us down in the half court. Can we execute in the half court? Can we draw up the right stuff? When that we work, 5, 6 seconds left on shot clock, can we knock down that three? That's kind of, can we take the next step from last year? That's kind of where I stand on it.
No, I think that's solid.
About.
I think it's a solid analysis there. We know where the strength is for Auburn. They're a fast break team. They want to keep moving the ball moving, and they want to control that pace of play. And I think we posted this out during that last game in Israel. The team that establishes themselves in that half court offense and gets control of this thing and makes the buckets in them is going to be the team that won. And I don't know that the Israel national team made that their bread and butter, but they obviously were more successful because they were drawing fouls. In the very least, they were getting to the foul line. That was like Kyle's dream right there, get to the foul line and then make your free throws. But, 42, 41 free throws they attempted, something like that?
Yeah, they definitely got – and look, definitely some home cooking in the final couple minutes there. I mean, I'm sorry. Some of those calls.
Hey, we were playing in God's land, so I mean, can you argue with that? I mean, come on.
It is what it is. I don't know if you know about my boy Roy Jones Jr. from Pensacola. He went over and got screwed overseas too. That kind of stuff happens over there. There's a history of things like that happening. You go over there and they're gonna hometown it for him. So it is what it is. But no, the boys played good. That was a very, very cool trip. Any of the drama that came from people, oh man,
if you didn't see that coming a mile away, I can't help you. You're just not with it on the times. I was just counting. I had my watch going. I was like, 3,
here they come,
2, and there they are.
Yeah, there they are. Yeah.
And listen, look,
forced them to get baptized. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing I'm going to say on that. We'll let this kind of be the end of our conversation on that, but I think one of our biggest problems in our society, and can relate to this, but at bigger things, is that we don't talk to each other. We tweet at each other. We message at each other. We don't take the time. In fact, there was someone that was supposed to call in tonight, claim they were, because they took issue with my kind of, pushing back on what they were saying about this issue. Said they were going to call in. Haven't done it yet. Maybe they're waiting. I'm hoping they are. And that's one of the biggest things is we need to be able to talk about these issues, but have conversations about them and not just point fingers and on both sides. I'm not saying one side or the other, and actually just talk through, why do you feel that way? Why do you think that this is wrong? Why do you think this is right? All that kind of stuff. So I'll get off my soapbox. But that's one of the biggest things about it.
No, I 100% agree with you, buddy. It's like everyone needs to understand that we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different upbringings. You haven't walked somebody's journey. You don't know why they see the world the way they see the world. You don't know what they might be going through at that time that has their emotions in a certain kind of place. And everyone's just brought up different. Everyone's cut from a different cloth. So that's kind of my biggest problem with everything that's going on in the world right now is people trying to group think, trying to box you in, trying to get you to pick one side or the other. And because all that is it's a manufactured division, and all that does is just breed hate.
Yep.
And if you're doing that, you're kind of missing the whole point.
Yeah.
And to put that in like an Auburn perspective, there's always this thing, right, where it's like the Bo Nix crowd versus the anti-Bo Nix crowd.
Yep.
And there's always now this like this Harsin thing. And I would say everyone's kind of I see more people devoted to Harsin, but I'll say like a criticism of something, and then they just get jumped. You know what I'm saying? Like if you say one thing like, hey, I don't like the way this went or the way this looks, you will just get bamboozled. Like you're a bad fan and blah, 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 blah. It's just, everyone just needs to kind of just calm down. Like it's all going to be okay. And as far as all this stuff goes with the team, man, you've got 8 games at home. When are you going to give us your prediction? When's that coming? When's that video coming?
I think actually, hold on. Let me pull the calendar up here on the other computer while I've got it in front of me, and I can I won't give you the exact date, but I'll give you a ball.
Is your mind made up?
Is my mind made up on the record? No, actually. The reason I put I'm looking right now. Did I not put it down? It should be on the schedule. Oh no, wait. It should be the week beginning right. Let me say that in a less confusing way. At the beginning of the week, leading up to the first game, I think that's when I give my first prediction, my final record prediction. To answer your question, I didn't see it exactly on there, but I'm pretty sure that's when I put it on there, or meant to put it on there. So I've not made up my mind. As I just said a little while ago, I'm getting more and more excited a lot earlier, and I'm trying to temper that so that I remain realistic. Knowing the context of which we're working. So we'll see. It could take a nosedive. And here I am in the 6-6 crowd. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you'd have to make a very compelling case for me to put anything lower than 8-4. A very compelling case. But that's where I stand at the moment. So if you want to preview, there you go.
I got you. Yeah, I guess for me, this is more so than any year, the ceiling and the floor. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference.
We're hanging in the middle.
Yeah, it can go one or two ways. There's a lot of reasons why it should go good, but I guess I'm a pessimistic Auburn fan sometimes.
Well, it's not like they gave you a lot of reasons last year to be excited. So
little jaded.
Hey, buddy, thank you for calling in tonight.
Yes, sir. Where you go, brother?
Awesome. All right. Phone lines are still going to be open for a little while. If you want to take advantage of those, please do. We usually get around, we kind of say informally that we go to 9 o'clock. I can go longer tonight. Depends on if you guys have a lot you still want to talk about. This is really, like I said, a show by you for you. So we'll stay on for a little bit longer. I haven't had a chance to do this yet because we've been going bang, bang, bang through the callers tonight. Our Wednesday night shows are brought to you by All Things Auburn. Please do check them out. allthingsauburn.net. They are a place not only for you to stay when you're coming to Auburn, but a place to have a full and complete Auburn experience. Talk to Tanya there and help get you started on a place to stay there. They are very helpful. I have actually worked with them myself, and I cannot recommend them highly enough. Just give them a call or a text or a message. But allthingsauburn.net is where you want to head for not just a stay in Auburn, but for an experience in Auburn. That's what we're all about here, the whole of the Auburn experience. All right. We will also kind of give you a couple. Let me do one reminder real quick. Not a reminder, just maybe an announcement, because I haven't really said anything about it. But my plan tomorrow, as of right now, is for tomorrow at 8 p.m. to do another live stream for a first half season preview. Haven't gotten some people that I wanted to get committed to do that with me tomorrow. They may still be able, but we're going to plan to do that tomorrow at 8 p.m. As well. So come back if you can. Invite a friend. Well, I shouldn't say I'll do this because I'm not going to say it unless I might just do it on a whim. But anyway, we're planning on going at 8 p.m. tomorrow to discuss Auburn football's first 6 games. All 6 of those games. Will it be a prediction for me? Not necessarily, but just a feel of where we're at right now and what that might mean based on us and their team. So hope you can join us for that. Going back to some of y'all's comments, I want to bring this up again because Patrick brought this up. Great point. The ball movement. And I believe you were talking about Israel. That was amazing ball movement. I was like, I stood up and clapped at one point for them because it was so amazing. Russell brought up Westry's size, speed, effort, 3-point extreme, driving ability, defense. He's literally super, super special. Westry, to me, I liked what I saw, but to me, the guy that I walk away with, hands down, most excited for is Janai Broom. I am a Janai Broom fan right now. How that man got out of here or got only picked up by Morehead State, maybe it was an academic thing. I don't know. How he didn't end up in major college basketball from the start is beyond me, unless it has something to do with him. Oh my goodness. They all booked for Penn State. Are you asking me if you're everybody? But yes, I was about to say they are probably booked up. And that's the thing when I talk about our friends at All Things Auburn, don't just think about football season with them. Think about all the other seasons. But even if you just want to take a week in Auburn, people aren't aware. Auburn's actually a really nice town to go for like a small getaway. There's a lot to do in Auburn. People forget about some of the other things that go on in there, whether it's, if you're into the nightlife, it's there. There's plenty to eat. The art museum, the Jay and Susie Gouge, I forget the whole title of the art museum, but they have the Performing Arts Center. They got plays, concerts, performances. They show movies out there. Campus, there's stuff happening a lot of the time. I mean, there's the Arboretum. Auburn is chock full of stuff if you know where to look and know the people to talk to do while you're there. And just go be on the campus. Go to Toomer's Corner, get you a lemonade, and just sit on Sanford lawn. Nothing better. Now I'm jazzed for. We're not going to be on campus in October a lot, but that 1 or 2 times we are. I'm so excited. So excited. I've missed it. I've missed this. My prediction, Corey says, I'll tell you, it's not going to be last in the SEC. You have a better chance of running a football back 109 yards than you do Auburn being last in the SEC. I'm probably going to eat those words, but hey, I think the rarity of that happening is so large. It's stupid to assume that, in my opinion. And I hope I'm wrong. Russell, all 4 basketball editions couldn't have impressed me more in Israel. Knew they'd be good, but they're all looking special. No ifs in recruiting anymore with Bruce. Yeah, it really doesn't feel that way. If he didn't prove that with you with finding, diamonds in the rough, like a Jarrett Harper, he can show you a couple 5 stars and a couple first-round draft picks that will sell himself on that. I'm very excited about the newcomers. I think one of the bigger questions I had in game 3, who was going to be the veterans that stepped up? That was answered by Wendell. It was answered by a lot of different guys at different times, but I found Wendell being the most convincing out of that, which has got me very excited for his potential this season. So, the newcomers and Wendell, I think, are the ones that I probably the most excited for, but I saw good things from everybody. I'm still disappointed that Leor Berman still couldn't be out there. It was a bit of a disappointment to not have him out there playing. Unbeaten Lake, it's good to see you. I think Eric Keesaw will be a good OC. I don't know much about Jeff Schmedding, but hopefully he will be a hidden gem. Well, there's a great thing about no one expecting much from you. That ceiling seems to be a lot higher. The thing I like about this, now listen, when we were going through all this coaching search stuff, whether it be for the head coach or the DCs at any point in time, I'm an Auburn guy first. I want them to have Auburn ties. I get that sometimes that's not, maybe a lot of the time that's not the best choice. In this scenario, especially after what they've been through, it was very important for me for Coach Harsin to have his guys. I don't care what your pedigree is at this point. He just needs to know that this is his program and his team. And he's got that now. Keesaw, he's got that in the holdovers from last year that stayed in coaching staff, the players that stayed that didn't run away. And I shouldn't say run away because there's plenty of reasons for people to leave. Some good, some bad. But I think this is what needed to happen. I really do. Before the season starts, you should do a video giving people the lowdown on parking, where Tiger Walk is, and where we should plan on being there. Yeah, Devin, you and I are so much on the same wavelength. I promise you. I know we've give you guys a little insight. So our booster club, if you guys haven't, check that link out in the description. $1 a month that gets you in the door there, but there are other tiers as well where you get other little perks as well. I know I had that question in front of it, but anyway, check that out. We had a kind of almost like a quote unquote investors call where I talked to a lot of them about my vision, things like that. And I learned from Devin that she wants to kind of see some of the things that I hope to continue to do for y'all here on this channel, because we're all about the sports here, but mainly we want to give you a well-rounded experience. And that includes things like that. So Devin, my commitment to you will be to try to get that done. I have a long list of things that I'm trying to manage and do already. I will try to get that in there for you when I can. But I'm excited for you to be here because we got to meet up, and I got to show you the town as much time as I can in between all my stuff that I do on campus. But I'm excited. So I will put that into the notebook of ideas. This is a great one, and I will try to work on that for you. Dustin, my bold take: Auburn and LSU both finish ahead of Ole Miss and Arkansas in the division. I will say, yay on Auburn in some regards to that. LSU, I don't think so. I think people are just on the. Is it Keyshawn Butte? I know his last name's Butte because it's a funny name. It just is. I think they will be below us definitely, and probably below some others. So I if you want me to throw like a just really quick prediction, I think Auburn finishes no worse than 5th in the SEC West. No worse. I don't think they'll finish that bad. Was thinking of the guards the last 5 years, a couple of bigs that had potential, but not like the absolute talents Bruce gets nowadays. Yeah. Well, it also helps that they know he's going to be there for a long, long time. Well, long for most things. So this is confusing for me, not because you wrote it, Corey, but because I saw this article of him going to Carver to be a coach, and then he got hired somewhere else as a running back coach at Catholic. Maybe that was what you meant, but like I thought I saw 2 different articles in 2 different days about Jeremy Johnson getting a high school coaching job. He's a Montgomery guy, so happy for him that he's finding a place there. And if he's at Catholic, that's where our new running back is, Jeremiah Cobb. So keep him there, keep him focused on Auburn. Need that guy to stay committed. Those picking Auburn last, thank you every time they sell Auburn shirt. We have a member year. It does feel that way. Don't make me feel bad, Dusty, that you had to order a debit card for that. Did you get that figured out now? Is that I haven't looked as of late, which is bad because I need to give you guys some updates recently. But yeah, I hate that you've had to go through that. All right, we're kind of at that point in the show. We're not leaving just yet, but get your last minute comments, questions. If there's a topic, especially we haven't hit yet, I'll leave the phone open for just another few minutes if you want to make a quick call in. But real quick, reminders as always that if you can check out those links in the description for ways to support us, one of those being a channel member. You can become that by hitting the join button. $1 a month is all it takes. That's it. That's all it takes. And you help keep the lights on here. And we've been talking about the Booster Club, which is also $1 a month, but has different tiers with different perks and things like that. I share information with these guys before anything else, exclusive things, bloopers, things like that. Me making myself look like an idiot, all that stuff. But there's other ways that you can help support the content listed in the description, because right now we are primarily supported by you guys. And, obviously that may change as time goes on with hopefully advertisers and things like that. But right now you are the lifeblood. So it is very much appreciated for those of you that can help financially. But if you can't, or just not in a position to do that right now, we just appreciate you being here, smashing that like button, sharing it out with a friend. And the biggest thing you can do, tell a friend, get them here to these live shows, to these other live streams, to the videos, to the podcast, to our social media accounts. Get them there. That is the biggest, most important thing you can do, because we want to be the best little family within the Auburn family. All right, let's see what you guys had to say. He's the quarterback coach at Carver. So where did I see this Catholic thing? Was that his position before? I swear, unless I'm just on drugs or something, that I saw that. I could be wrong. How long until the Bama players start talking about how everybody doubts them? Oh, goodness. Carter's coming any day now. Well, again, I'm sorry you had to do that. There comes a point where Alabama just needs to know who they are and just stop pretending. It's stupid now. You're just more annoying than you could be by not acting that way. Kevlar, center position after Nick Brahms. Thoughts? Yeah, I saw this happening earlier in the chat, and I just didn't get an opportunity to bring it up. But That is a good question. Who is it after that? Was it Jaleel Irvin? Now he's a junior though, I believe. I've got that right in my head. So that is a big question of who's going to be that. Now, Braden Joyner, who's coming in this year, who's the lead recruiter for the 20 in terms of recruiting others for us, an Auburn guy. I know he's got some interior linemen. Connor Liu, who we thought was going to commit to Auburn. I've just triggered Dusty again by mentioning his name. A lot of people thought he might be that guy, but didn't amount to it in terms of coming to Auburn. So it's a big question, right? This happens every so often because when you find that center, you tend to plug them in there early and kind of just roll with them. You can think back to like Reestis Mukes and things like that, and it ends up working well in that format. It's kind of what you want with quarterbacks a lot too. Want them working together for a while. So I don't really have any concrete thoughts on it other than I just don't know. Like a lot of you guys, Irvin, I thought was the one name that I heard, but I'm sure we have the backup center, so they're here. We just don't talk about them outside of Brahms. Have we talked about the quarterback video? We have not. That was a cool thing, wasn't it? For those of you that don't know, they had some more fun on social media and did a little Top Gun scene recreation with the quarterbacks. I liked that a lot. You know, it had the chance to be very gimmicky and stupid, and it wasn't. I found myself actually enjoying the heck out of it. And I'm not a huge Top Gun fan. I'm not a Top Gun fan, just not my thing. And I can appreciate what they were able to do with that. And I think they pulled it off very well. Included all the quarterbacks in it, even the walk-ons, the ones that we're not even considering as part of this race. And I really enjoyed it. I'd like to see more of those type of things. Having fun. What I loved about it, Devin, is the fact that they head-on acknowledged everybody is focused on this thing. Let's have fun with it. Because I think there's tension there, right? Competition always brings tension, sometimes good, sometimes bad. That kind of almost, when you acknowledge that tension, it maybe puts it out in front, makes it easier to recognize, and everybody's not tiptoeing around each other and things like that. Just my thoughts on it. So, Corey, I think I'm the one that's just hallucinating or something like that. Russell says Irvin is the backup at center, senior, but has the COVID year option. Tate Johnson and Brandon Council's a senior as well. So it looks like we if Irvin stays another year, Tate, maybe that gives us enough time to get Joyner in here to become the new center. That looks like your route right now. I love the blooper at the end from Keyshaw. I did see the blooper. Yeah, that was funny too. You can tell that Harson's getting out of his comfort zone doing these. I love to see that. And not to take credit away from Coach Harson, because he's the one being willing to participate in them and spend the time on them. Because like you heard him say, it took him some time to film that. He's brought people in he's willing to make part of his staff that are creatives, that come up with these things, that spend their time thinking about it. I mean, I can speak from my own personal experience, how much time it takes just to sit down here, come up with ideas for new images, new video concepts, what keeps you guys interested. So I can appreciate that. And the fact that he's invested his time, but also invested the resources that he's provided for this program into bringing people like that to do that is very good. Avery Jernigan, is he still here? That might be it. Thought of as a possible future starter when recruited. Dad was a coach. Is he here still? That's sad that I don't know that. But Irvin is the one I've always thought of. Anyway. All right, we're going to do it right there. That's going to close. I'm going to close down the phone lines. Thank you guys so much for being here, for being part of our show, for being part of our little family within the Auburn family. I say this all the time, and I do mean this from the bottom of my heart. You are the best little family within the Auburn family. Couldn't have asked for a better one, and we're about to have some fun here in a couple of weeks with some football. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., plan is to go live with a first half season preview. Hope you can join us. Not necessarily a full prediction show, but just to have us a discussion point to talk about it game by game and things like that. So hopefully it'll be me and someone else. If not, we'll just have some fun together. Thank you guys so much for being here. You are the best. Till I talk to you again either tomorrow on another Wednesday night call or on a video